I walked into Laurent's at 8:47 p.m., and the first thing I noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that comes after decisions have been made, after courses have been served, after wine has been poured and consumed. My parents sat at a corner table near the window, plates cleared except for delicate smears of sauce. My brother Marcus leaned back in his chair, his girlfriend scrolling through her phone with the relaxed posture of someone who'd already gotten what they came for. My mother looked up and smiled, that soft, practiced smile she uses when she's about to frame a demand as a favor. "Oh, you made it," she said lightly. "We went ahead and ordered. You know how long the service takes here." My father nodded, dabbing his mouth with a linen napkin. "The duck was exceptional tonight. You should have been here earlier." Marcus's girlfriend glanced up briefly, then returned to her screen. My brother said nothing, just lifted his wineglass in a lazy half gesture that might have been acknowledgement. That's when the server approached, black leather folder in hand. He placed it gently in the center of the table, equidistant from everyone, and stepped back with professional discretion. No one moved. My mother's eyes flicked from the check to me, then back to her water glass. "We figured since you're doing so well lately." She let the sentence hang there, unfinished, like it didn't need completion. Marcus laughed once, short and light. "Yeah, Mom said you wouldn't mind. You never do." And that's when something crystallized. Not anger, not yet, just perfect, absolute clarity. I wasn't there to celebrate my father's promotion. I was there to perform a role I'd been playing for so long I'd forgotten I'd auditioned for it. My name is Jordan. I'm 32 years old. And for the past 8 years, my family has used one word to describe me: reliable. They never meant it as a compliment. They meant I could be counted on to show up, to cover shortfalls, to smooth over the gaps between their lifestyle and their actual means. Reliable meant I wouldn't complain, wouldn't question, wouldn't stop. But what they didn't know, what they'd never bothered to learn, was that reliable people keep records. And I had kept everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join our family of viewers that stand for justice and won't sit back and watch someone being taken advantage of. Growing up, our family looked like the kind you see in holiday card photos. 2-story house in a good neighborhood, parents who hosted dinner parties, a brother who played varsity sports and dated the right kind of girls. I was the quieter one, the one who studied while Marcus socialized, the one who got good grades without making noise about it. My parents loved Marcus's energy, his confidence, the way he filled rooms with his presence. When he wanted something, he asked directly and usually got it. When I needed something, I learned to assess whether it was worth the disruption. By the time I was 16, I understood the family economy. Marcus took up space. I made space. Marcus made messes. I cleaned them up. Not because anyone asked explicitly, but because that's what kept things smooth. The financial requests started small. I was 24, 2 years into my first real job at a software company. Marcus had just quit his third job in 18 months, something about a toxic work environment that turned out to be basic accountability. My mother called one Tuesday evening. "Your brother's having a tough month," she said, "just until he gets back on his feet. Maybe $500, just to cover his rent." I sent it. It felt good, actually, like I was being a good sister, a good family member. The $500 became $800 the next month, then $200. Then it stopped being framed as a loan and started being framed as helping out. The language shifted gradually. "Can you" became "would you mind" became "we figured you could handle this." By my late 20s, I was covering more than Marcus's shortfalls, my parents' anniversary trip to Napa. "Just the hotel, we'll handle everything else." Except they didn't. My father's car repair. "Insurance will reimburse us. This is just temporary." It wasn't. The new furniture for their living room. "We'll pay you back after the bonus comes through." It never did. I told myself I was investing in family, that this was what people did for each other, that the money didn't matter as much as the relationship. But somewhere around year 5, The requests stopped being requests. They became assumptions. My mother would text me restaurant names, not invitations. Dinner at Montclair, 7 p.m. Saturday. My father would forward me bills with a single line. Can you take care of this? Marcus would Venmo request me for things he'd already purchased, with laughing emojis, like it was an inside joke we both enjoyed. The inside joke was that I never said no. What none of them knew was that I hadn't been working at some tech company for years. I'd left that job when I was 27 to join a startup, a fintech startup that had grown faster than any of us expected. By the time I was 29, I'd been promoted to senior product director. When I turned 30, the company went public. My shares vested at $4.2 million. I didn't tell anyone. Not because I was ashamed, but because I knew exactly what would happen if I did. The requests wouldn't stop. They'd multiply. They'd evolve. Just $500 would become, you can afford it, would become, what kind of daughter has millions while her parents struggle? So I kept quiet. I drove the same Honda Civic I'd bought used at 25. I rented a modest one-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood my parents considered fine for now. I dressed in simple clothes, worked from home, and let them believe I was doing okay. Letting them underestimate me was the only boundary I had left. But boundaries built on deception aren't really boundaries. They're just delays. The requests had been escalating over the past 6 months, but 3 incidents stood out. 3 moments that should have been my wake-up calls, if I'd been willing to see them. The first was in April. I'd been nominated for a 40 Under 40 Tech Leadership Award. Not huge, but meaningful in my industry. The award dinner was on a Friday night. I'd mentioned it once to my mother in passing, weeks earlier. The morning of the dinner, my mother called. We're doing a family dinner tonight. Your father grilled steaks. You should come over. I can't tonight, I said. Remember? The award thing. Silence. Then, what award thing? I explained again. There was a pause, not quite long enough to be rude, just long enough to communicate priority. Well, she said finally, we're all together tonight. It would be nice if you made time for family, but I guess if this work thing is more important. I went to the family dinner. I arrived late to the awards ceremony, missed my category, and left before dessert. When I got to my parents' house, Marcus and his girlfriend were on the couch watching a movie. My parents were cleaning up. The steaks had already been eaten. Oh, you made it, my mother said, loading the dishwasher. There's some salad left if you're hungry. No one asked about the award. The second incident was in June. Marcus announced he was moving into a new apartment. A nice one, from what he described. 2 bedrooms downtown, with parking. I was happy for him. He'd been job hopping for years, but maybe this was a turning point. 2 weeks later, I got a Venmo request for $3,800. The memo said, first plus, last plus deposit. You're the best, sis. I stared at that message for 10 minutes, then I paid it. 3 days later, I saw Marcus's Instagram post. Him and his girlfriend at a resort in Cabo. Much needed vacation before the big move, the caption read. 12 photos of pools and cocktails and ocean views. I called my mother. Did you know Marcus went to Cabo? Oh, yes, she said warmly. He needed a break. He's been so stressed with the job search. He asked me for his rent deposit. Right, and you helped. That's what we do for each other. He used my money for vacation. A pause. Jordan, don't be like that. You know Marcus works differently than you do. He needs different things. You've always been better with money. Better with money meant more willing to give it away. The third incident happened just 3 weeks ago. My company closed a major acquisition. My role expanded significantly. My compensation adjusted accordingly. It was the biggest professional milestone of my career. I made the mistake of mentioning it in the family group chat. Not the numbers, just the achievement. Big news at work today. New role, exciting project. My mother's response came within minutes. That's wonderful, honey. Does this mean you're treating us to dinner to celebrate? Marcus sent a GIF of someone throwing money in the air. My father wrote, "Proud of you, kiddo. Let's get the family together this weekend." Not one person asked what the role was, what the project entailed, what it meant for my career. Just immediate calculation of what it meant for them. I should have seen it then. The pattern, the transaction, the fact that my achievements only mattered as they translated into their benefit. But I didn't. Not yet. Not until tonight. I sat down at the table at Laurent's, in the chair they'd left for me, the only one without a jacket draped over the back, the only one without the relaxed posture of someone who'd enjoyed a 300 per person meal. The check folder sat in the center of the table, untouched, waiting. My mother reached for her water glass. "The salmon was incredible tonight. You really missed something special." My father leaned back, satisfied. "Best meal we've had in months." Marcus scrolled through his phone, half present. His girlfriend looked at her nails. I glanced at the check folder, then at each of them. My father avoiding eye contact. My mother's expectant half smile. Marcus's casual indifference. "I need to use the restroom," I said, standing up. "I'll be right back." My mother nodded. "Take your time, honey." I walked past the restrooms and found the manager near the host stand. His name tag read, Philippe. "Excuse me," I said quietly. "I'm at table 12. I need to clarify something about payment." He pulled out a tablet, tapped a few times. "Yes, table 12? Party of 5? Is there a problem?" "I called 3 days ago," I said, "about account authorizations." His expression shifted to recognition. "Ah, yes, Ms. Chen. We processed that request. All previous authorizations have been removed from your account. And there's no other payment method on file for this table?" He checked again. "No, ma'am. We'll need payment from the party this evening." "Perfect," I said. "When they ask to charge it to an account, you'll inform them it's not available, correct?" "That's correct." "And you'll need a card from whoever ordered the meal?" "Yes, ma'am. Standard procedure when there's no account on file." I thanked him and walked back to the table, my heart steady, my mind clear. I'd made that call on Tuesday, 3 days ago, the same day I'd received my mother's text about tonight's dinner. "Your father got promoted. We're celebrating at Laurent's Saturday at 7. Meet us there." Not, "Can you join us?" Not, "Would you like to come?" Meet us there, like a summons. I'd known exactly how the night would unfold, because it always unfolded the same way. Reservation made without consulting me. Meal ordered and consumed before I arrived. Check presented with casual expectation that I'd handle it. For 8 years, I had handled it. But 3 days ago, I decided to run an experiment. A final data collection point. I wanted to see if they'd do it again, even now, even after all this time, with such casual certainty. They had. I sat back down at the table. The check folder hadn't moved. My mother glanced at it, then at me. "Whenever you're ready, sweetheart." I folded my hands in my lap. "Actually, I need to tell you all something." My father looked up, mildly curious. Marcus finally put his phone down. "I won't be covering dinner tonight," I said. The table went still. Marcus laughed. "Good one." "I'm serious," I said. My mother's smile tightened. "Jordan, what are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that I've paid for approximately 73 family dinners over the past 8 years. I'm talking about the $186,000 I've transferred to various family members over the same period, and I'm talking about the fact that I'm not doing it anymore." Silence landed like a weight. My father frowned. "That's a bit dramatic, don't you think?" "Is it?" I asked, "because I have every transaction logged, every Venmo transfer, every wire, every dinner receipt. Would you like me to pull up the spreadsheet?" My mother's face flushed. "Jordan, this is family. We don't keep score." "You're right," I said. "Family doesn't keep score. But this isn't family. This is infrastructure. I've been funding your lifestyle, Marcus's rent, your vacations, your dinners, your emergencies that aren't really emergencies. And it stops tonight." Marcus leaned forward. "Are you seriously doing this here? Now?" I seriously am, I said. Why? My mother asked, voice rising slightly. Why are you being like this? Because 3 weeks ago, when I told you about my promotion, the only thing you asked was whether I'd pay for dinner. Because 6 months ago, when I won an industry award, you had me skip it for leftover steak. Because Marcus used the $3,800 I gave him for rent to go to Cabo. Because you've never once asked me what my job actually is, how much I make, or whether I can afford what you keep asking for. My father cleared his throat. Now hold on. You don't know what I do for a living, I continued, my voice calm and steady. You don't know where I work, what I've built, or what I've achieved. You've never asked. And you've never asked because knowing might complicate the narrative that I'm doing okay, and should be grateful to help family who's doing worse. My mother's eyes were sharp now. So what? You're rich and we're not, and you're punishing us for it? I'm not punishing anyone, I said. I'm just not participating anymore. The manager approached the table, professional and polite. Excuse me, is everything all right? My mother looked at him, then at the check. Yes, we'd like to put this on the house account. Philippe's expression remained neutral. I apologize, but we don't have an account on file for this table. We'll need a payment method this evening. My father's face shifted. That's not possible. We've used the account here before. Previous authorizations were removed earlier this week. Felipe said gently. We'll need a card from the party. My mother turned to me, realization dawning. You called them. You planned this. I did, I said. Marcus's girlfriend whispered something to him. He whispered back, face reddening. This is insane, Marcus said. You're really going to embarrass us over money? I'm not embarrassing you, I said. I'm declining to cover a meal I didn't eat, at a restaurant I didn't choose, for a celebration I wasn't part of. That's not embarrassment. That's consequence. My father pulled out his wallet, hands moving slowly, uncertain. He opened it, looked inside, then closed it again. I don't have my card, he said quietly. My mother opened her purse, rifled through it. I thought you brought yours. You said you'd handle it. I said we'd put it on the account. The account I'd closed 3 days ago. Felipe waited patiently. Take your time. Marcus pulled out his phone, opened his banking app. I watched his face change as he checked his balance. His girlfriend did the same, her expression tightening. I can cover part of it, Marcus said slowly. Maybe half? My mother looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something other than expectation, uncertainty, maybe even fear. Jordan, she said, voice softer now. Please, don't do this. I'm not doing anything, I said. I'm just not doing what you expected. My father leaned forward, attempting authority. This is family, Jordan. You don't just stop helping without discussing it. I've been trying to discuss it for years, I said. You just never listened. When? My mother demanded. When did you ever say you had a problem? Every time I hesitated before saying yes. Every time I asked if you were sure you needed it. Every time I mentioned my own expenses and you told me I was good with money. You weren't listening for a conversation. You were listening for compliance. Philippe cleared his throat gently. I can give you folks a few more minutes, but we will need to settle the check this evening. My mother's face was flushed now, angry and embarrassed. Fine, we'll figure it out. Just give us a minute. She turned to my father. How much cash do you have? Maybe 60. Marcus? Mom, I'm at like $300 in my checking right now. My mother pulled out her credit card, jaw tight, and handed it to Philippe. Just run this. He took it and walked away. We sat in silence. My mother stared at the table. My father studied his hands. Marcus's girlfriend had her arms crossed, defensive. Marcus himself looked at me like I'd betrayed him, like I'd violated some unspoken rule. I felt nothing. No guilt. No satisfaction. Just clarity. Felipe returned, his expression apologetic. I'm sorry, ma'am. The card was declined. Do you have another? My mother's face went pale. She looked at me, then at my father. David. My father pulled out a different card. Try this one. Philippe left again. The silence stretched longer this time. Marcus's girlfriend stood up. I need to make a call, she muttered, walking toward the entrance. Really? Marcus hissed at me. You're enjoying this. I'm not, I said honestly. I'm finished. The word hung there, finished. Not angry, not vindictive, just done. Felipe returned with the second card. This one went through. You're all set. My father signed the receipt with jerky, frustrated movements. No one said thank you to Philippe. No one made eye contact with each other. I stood up. I'm leaving. My mother looked up, eyes red. Jordan. I'm not cutting you off, I said. I'm not punishing you. I'm just setting a boundary. If you want to have dinner with me, invite me. Actually invite me. Ask what works for my schedule. Choose a place together. Show up to celebrate me sometimes, not just when you need something. Treat me like family, not like a solution to a problem you keep creating. My father's voice was tight. After everything we've done for you. What? I asked, genuinely curious now. What have you done for me? You raised me, yes. You gave me a home and food and education. That's what parents do. That's baseline. It doesn't entitle you to 8 years of financial support while treating me like an afterthought. My mother stood up, voice shaking. You think you're so much better than us now. No, I said. I think I deserve the same respect you give each other, the same consideration, the same acknowledgement, and if that's too much to ask, then we don't have much of a relationship anyway. I walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice, smaller now. Jordan. I paused but didn't turn around. How long have you been planning this? 8 years, I said. I just didn't realize it until 3 weeks ago. I walked out into the cool night air. My phone buzzed before I even reached my car. A text from my mother. I can't believe you embarrassed us like that. Then my father. We need to talk about this. Call me. Then Marcus. Real mature, sis. Way to ruin Dad's night. I didn't respond to any of them. I drove home in silence, the city lights blurring past my window. Do you believe I did the right thing? Let me know in the comments what you would have done if you were in my shoes, and if you're in support of my decision, don't forget to like and subscribe. At home, my apartment felt different. Not empty, spacious, clean, mine. I poured a glass of wine and opened my laptop. The spreadsheet was still up, the one I'd been maintaining since year 2, when the temporary loans stopped being temporary. 186.47. That was the total, not including the dinners I couldn't remember to log, not including the small cash amounts, not including the "can you just grab this" purchases that were never repaid. I told myself for years that I was investing in family, that the money didn't matter, that relationships were more important than balances. But at some point, I'd crossed a line, from giving to enabling, from supporting to subsidizing, from family to infrastructure. And once you become infrastructure, you stop being a person. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a longer message from my mother. I don't understand why you're doing this. We've always been there for you. We've supported you your whole life. Yes, sometimes we needed help, and you helped because that's what family does. If you didn't want to help, you should have said something instead of making a scene at your father's celebration. This is so hurtful and unnecessary. We don't deserve this treatment. I read it twice. Then I typed a response. You're right that I should have said something sooner. I should have set boundaries years ago. But every time I hesitated, you interpreted it as agreement. Every time I said, I'll have to check my budget, you told me I was good with money. Every time I mentioned I had my own expenses, you reminded me that family helps family. You trained me not to say no by making every no feel like betrayal. I'm not punishing you. I'm correcting a pattern that's been unhealthy for both of us. You've built a lifestyle that requires my support, and I've enabled it by never forcing you to face the reality of your choices. That ends now. If you want a relationship with me, it has to be based on mutual respect, not financial convenience. I'm not your bank. I'm not your safety net. I'm your daughter, and I deserve to be treated like one. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. The responses came quickly. My father: "You're being selfish and cruel." Marcus: "Can't believe you're choosing money over family." My mother: "I raised you better than this." I set my phone face down on the counter and didn't respond. Over the next week, the messages continued. Guilt trips, accusations, flying monkeys in the form of my aunt calling to tell me I was breaking your mother's heart. My father's colleague sending a LinkedIn message about the importance of family unity. Through it all, I maintained the same boundary. I didn't engage. I didn't defend. I didn't explain further. I'd said what I needed to say. They'd heard it, even if they weren't ready to accept it. What surprised me most was how little guilt I felt. I'd imagined this moment for years, thinking it would tear me apart, that I'd mourn the relationship, that I'd question everything. Instead, I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't realize was crushable until I set it down. 2 weeks after the dinner, Marcus called. Not texted. Called. "Hey," he said when I answered. "Hey. So, that was intense." "Yeah." A pause. "Did you really keep a spreadsheet of everything?" "I did." Another pause. "Can I see it?" I pulled it up and sent it to him. I heard him open it, heard the silence stretch as he scrolled through 8 years of transactions. "Jesus," he said finally. "I didn't realize it was this much." "Most people don't," I said, "when it happens gradually." "Jordan, He stopped. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything." "But I do, because I had no idea. Like, I knew you helped out sometimes, but I didn't know it was this much, this often." "You didn't ask." "No," he admitted, "I didn't. And I should have." It wasn't an apology, not exactly, but it was closer than anything else I'd received. "What do you need from me?" he asked. "Like, going forward?" "I need you to pay your own rent," I said. "I need you to budget for your own vacations. I need you to stop assuming I'll cover gaps you create. And if you want to grab dinner sometime, actually invite me. Not as an afterthought, not as a convenient ATM, as your sister." "I can do that," he said quietly. "I want to do that." "Okay." Are you rich?" he asked, almost afraid of the answer. "I'm financially stable," I said, "and I'd like to keep it that way." He laughed, short and surprised. "Fair enough." We hung up without resolving everything, but something had shifted. Not fixed, just shifted. My parents, on the other hand, doubled down. My mother sent long messages about sacrifice and disappointment. My father wrote formal emails about reconsidering your position. They framed my boundary as punishment, as abandonment, as proof that I valued money over family. They never once acknowledged the pattern, never once said, "We took advantage of you," never once apologized. I didn't expect them to, because people who build their lives on someone else's stability don't want to admit the foundation was always borrowed. 3 months have passed since that dinner at Laurent's. My parents and I haven't spoken directly. Marcus and I have had coffee twice. The first time was awkward. The second time was better. He paid for both. I haven't cut my family off. I've just stopped being their financial plan B through Z. I've stopped answering money requests. I've stopped showing up to events I'm informed about, not invited to. I've stopped pretending that proximity equals connection. And you know what's strange? My life got quieter in the best possible way. I wake up without dread about what text might be waiting. I make decisions about my money that reflect my values, not their expectations. I invest in relationships with people who see me, not just what I can provide. Last week, a colleague invited me to dinner, an actual invitation. "Are you free Friday? Want to try that new place downtown? My treat, or we can split, whatever works." It was such a small thing, but I almost cried, because it had been so long since someone asked what worked for me. I'm not going to lie and say this has been easy. There are moments I question myself. Moments I wonder if I'm being too harsh, too rigid, too unforgiving. But then I remember the award ceremony I missed for leftover steak. I remember Marcus in Cabo, funded by my rent deposit money. I remember 8 years of just this once that became always. And I remember that boundaries aren't walls, they're doors, and I get to choose when to open them. If you've ever been the reliable one, the one who always shows up, the one who always pays, I need you to hear this. You are not selfish for stopping. You are not cruel for setting boundaries. You are not obligated to fund other people's choices just because you're related. Family is supposed to be a support system, not a financial system. And if the only way they can maintain their lifestyle is by draining yours, that's not family. That's exploitation wearing a family name tag. You deserve relationships built on mutual respect, not financial convenience. You deserve to be celebrated for who you are, not what you provide. You deserve to say no without it being treated like betrayal. And if setting that boundary causes the relationship to collapse, it wasn't strong enough to survive honesty anyway. I paid for 73 family dinners over 8 years. The last one cost them everything they thought they could count on, and it cost me nothing but the weight I'd been carrying. If this story resonated with you, if you've been the family ATM, the reliable one, the one who doesn't mind, leave a comment. Tell me your story, because you're not alone in this. And maybe, just maybe, you deserve to close the account too. And if you enjoyed listening to my story and want to listen to many more, like and subscribe to, join our family of viewers who stand for justice.